Hi, everyone. Welcome to White Noise. My name is Robin, and I am your host today. We have a very special featured performer here tonight, and welcome to whoever just stepped through the door. Just got to go around the curtain. Hey, Will. We literally just began. Our featured performer tonight is Gary Dale Burns. We have another Gary in the crowd who just almost freaked out. I'm going to read Gary's bio super quickly. Gary Dale Burns was born in 1985 in Provo, Utah, in a birthing center across from BYU. His work has been previously published in Antiphony, Sanctuary, and Cæsura. He currently resides in the town of Poughkeepsie, New York, and teaches in the Hudson Valley. He runs a Substack newsletter at garydaleburns.substack.com, very easy to remember, as well as a small esoterica/occult bookstore on Etsy at thelastmysteries.etsy.com. I met Gary probably about a month ago now at a reading in Kingston, which felt very serendipitous. We connected basically immediately. One, because of our love of poetry, and two, because we both are quite privy to Greenkill. And I asked him to feature here, and that's the story. So about a week ago, we were here at Greenkill and we recorded a podcast here, which was very fun. We talked a lot about Gary's background in writing, his career as a teacher locally, and this small bookstore that he runs on Etsy, which I was so interested in. If any of you are interested in occult stuff, esoteric stuff, UFOs, Bigfoot, things like that, definitely check out Gary's bookstore. It's quite, just even just to scroll through and see all these cool covers, it's really just it's really amazing. I'm a big fan. So on that note, Gary's going to get up and do his thing. So welcome.
Thanks, Robin. It's really good to be back here on the stage. I really had a wonderful time recording the podcast. I know we were very over the 1 hour mark, but that's usually the indication of good conversation. So I'm going to be reading poems that I've just written this year. I think I have 11 poems or so. And if you guys want to read along, they are on my Substack. So if I would not take any offense if you got out your phones and checked out garydaleburns.substack.com. You could actually read along, and I'll start by reading my most recent work, and then I'll go back to January. So I'll move from this month into January. Yes, and I feel especially honored to be here because it's National Poetry Month. Yesterday was Independent Bookstore Day, and my birthday's on Thursday. So this is also my birth month, and this feels really special. So thanks for coming out. So this first one is called Geological Time. And it's for Solveig Balla, who is a Danish author. There is a patience that is exquisite, that hatches an egg because the nest itself is warm. Think of the concept of soup, of mothers, yes, stregonona, or having to eat your way back to town through a giant mound of porridge. You'll get there eventually, but to be patient while all the while becomes each breath. There, a patience so mythically bouldered, like a glacial erratic under mid-April hardwoods, late to bloom where once mile-high ice moonwalked into a magic circle. Here the terrible patience is only a temporary ache that her 212-gram book relieves, then slips out as a wedge between my mind and heart. No truer chronology, the Danish woman writes, the philosopher of a novel, same age as my mother. This next one's called, getting these a little out of order. This next one's called Crabtree Section. It's also dedicated to a writer, but this writer has since passed, Charles Olson, who lived from 1910 to 1970 and called Gloucester, Mass. His home. I went to go visit his grave and do some writing out there recently. So this is for Charles Olson. Chuck, I read at your gravestone, they saved from splitting on the eve of spring, an offering like tobacco or the mostly empty bottle of Cuddy Sark someone else had unburdened themselves of, waiting for the dive bar of heaven to open at 10 a.m. Inebriation, a laxative of spirit, to loosen the body, make dart throws and bowels move with finesse down greased planks as also bound to fall in time like candle pins. I am of your influence in all the cheerless and jovial ways. I read your letters letters written to you that you were unable to answer, because time flows like a crick into a cove with ocean tides lapping an ever-flowing present to buffer future correspondence. Doctor that makes the medicine go down easy. I messed that one up. Oh, here we go. Yep. Doctor, my friends inoculate against friendship. Here in this baggie are cotton swabs I use to cull evidence from their daily bloodlettings, spillways they gladly open when immured and dammed up as partnered people, swooned by a song that was written for someone else. The museum is closed. Your papers at Yukon, the fishermen's wives behind a portcullis of seaweed, trade hermit crab shells, and Gary sells flowers that consume their own colors as the last icicle drops from your former home on Fort Square. Maximus, salt from the bay in one pocket, clams from the Anasquam in the other. I dig through unsettled sorrow. Neon signs in the mock night of shadows beckon me to remit a sin equal to an act of poetry that could plant crab trees, Malus, Wurgaloo, where Bradstreet crossed ahead. Spring up, America, twice and a half, and then how many again? This is another one that I wrote out in Gloucester, Mass, on my little self-imposed writing retreat. This one's called Gnostic War. Gnostic War. Blessings upon the infidels. Live, laugh, launch. The silhouette of a woodpecker on a cedar of Lebanon, as their favorite city to torment feels fresh conscription from the hills like sprouting poppy buds. Here on Cape Ann, an arm of Ipswich Bay, a shoreline of Pleistocene pebbles and plastic and glass, I wonder if an ICBM will sound like an airplane, maybe the Concorde supersonic, a screaming Alcott escaping Brook Farm for the moon, or is Gabriel's trumpet with Satchmo stank, mellifluous, honey-tongued, as liquid as the gold poured down the throat? The day after the day after, no, the minute on the hour after, they use the images of horror against the fear of the real. But Star Wars? Some illusions can be given such dimension that whole universes rise in a plume of adulterated mischief. These bad actors profit from in the spreading of ashes. Comedy has only ever been the syrup that makes the medicine go down easy, has comedy only been? Is laughter and riad when dead beneath the feet of crickets, a robin's breast away from resuscitation? Beak to beak, cheek to cheek, turn away, it's still there. Mary had twins, so in that cosmic error, the first became the last in our comedy of errors. Hungry for placenta that's never on the menu. A joke is all we'll eat when the supplies run out. This next one's called Sandburger. Not something you want to eat. Sandburger. That's got to be terrible. The heart is the size of a fist. No wonder it takes a beating. If I had something there, I thought I might have had something on you. Seems busted, though. The precise metaphor, a stray dog. Or would it be if change was dreaded less than the stale forever? Sure makes a killing. Now I think I'm clever, or more clever than I was when I began, as the blizzard outside produces Aeolian verses broader than the city of big shoulders. Illusion. To mind, a horse hoof trampling down. Got these out of whack. Takes more gall from us than bladder. With a brick wall behind me, take a shot, heckler. To usher in comedy brings a smell that is distracting from my story about my itch, my meteorological itch, near my geography rash. Choices are the boon to life's mess. In riding with heart, handy dancing. Feeling vulnerable. That's the title. That's but you know, I'm also feeling that way. You know, that's just par for the course. I'm feeling vulnerable and old habits are dying hard. A cancer scare last week, a weekend reading, a Lunar New Year to greet. I want to get up on stage and forget my lines, knowing that someone has my cue. Leave the mountain of woe behind, chain broken, my gang of gremlins I thought I could tame, freed. My paunch grows and shrinks, hiding and revealing my shame, and something else in the walls is trying to move in. Need filled, sign over a scooped out hollow, building permit be damned. I want to let in the love I shun living alone. No one earns grace, but not everyone is undeserving. The sun shines in the west, last and long are its shadows thrown over the blood-soaked land. A power like concentrated lemon puckers all our lips into our mouths. We're forced to talk to ourselves. So I ask myself for the color to return. Do resuscitate and let me train crows. The poem becomes a bulwark. Again, the callous forms. I've got to feel vulnerable again soon, so sacred and inane. This one's called Minor Trends. Little bit about some of my family history in here. If you listen to the podcast from last week, there'll be some connections to make, definitely. Minor Trends. One of the benefits of being raised under faith is an appreciation for the doctors of the mind. But you can start your studies too early like me and get caught halfway down the ladder. If my father had been born the son of Abraham and Sarah, and not her second husband, Lonnie, I would now be of age to begin my study of the Kabbalah, that mystic philosophy of contempt for history. Contempt isn't hate, and reverence for the divine, stupidity. pass the bread, and give a rose to someone in the local group. The absentee Americans can't help us now. Where has Sarah gone? I've lost her, as my father did, as I lost him and his last name before I could write my own. My father is he, a fireman who comes to rescue me from the conflagration of all these congregations not up to code. Later at the hospital, the doctor tells me it was all in my mind. Okay, so this is called Le Allegoria, or the Allegory, and it's in Italian just because I reference a work of Rossini, an opera that he put together called The Siege of Corinth, and it has a certain meaning to me. And one of my longer works that I have on my Substack that I'm gradually writing is a novella that is kind of like a combination of my family history and but also fictionalized. So that's the reason why it's in here. We'll see if it actually works as a poem. La Allegoria. The Quaker way to end an argument is to put the question, is it sentiment or truth? The student asks a koan without knowing it. Why is there a turtle on the ceiling? I claw with my hands like a winter's fly, trying to keep warm. Cancer will come to us because we live on the sands of depression along the southern coastline of the shores below the cliffs of insanity. I'm watching in my mind the future first episode of a spin-off Dread Pirate Roberts TV show, while finally listening to Rossini's L'Assidio di Corinto, Sills, Horn, Bonisoli, conducted by Thomas Shippers, 1969. It's all so grainy, I can almost see the sounds. Is it sentiment or truth? It's at least Italian. Okay, this one's a little different. This is a prose poem. I've just got like a couple left. Am I still doing good on time? Cool. This one is called Money. There's a $sign on either side of this. It doesn't matter if you don't care about matters like money and the accumulation of material things so unlike the snow transcendent. What will matter to you is the presence of what you don't have, of lack in the little kitchenette and the small basket that holds a single piece of fruit. Money is liquid, a substance like water that can be frozen and grow by 7 or evaporate as quickly as it had flowed across the thirsty land. Money is matter, but matter isn't solid. So physics has revealed to us in the last century, 100 bundles of 365 days, years you've spent unborn or in debt, and you'll be unable to handle it, money, if you don't practice holding it, rubbing it between your fingers, smelling it, folding origami animals of it. But please, no peace swans, no birds of any kind, never make of money any animal of flight. I've lost my place. Because naturally it will fly away from you, migratory and bound by instinct. You have no instinct for money, so you must design a fly trap for it, like a fly trap for zombies in some quiet town gone wrong. Money will make you whole and full of honey, a comb of plenty in the carcass of a masculine lion, his mane all ruffled up from worry. Who knows what Esau and Blake spoke about before the gates of heaven as they both were admitted, because the density of their creations displaced the weight of their debts. Money is mouthpiece, is vote, is balls hanging from the hitch of a pickup. Money is all the beans you can guess in a jar the size of the world. When the debt feels insurmountable, is like a mountain of sedimentary hoard that only one greedy dragon guards, you've got to seek money out of the hidden door revealed in moon runes. If there's anything a Sisyphean task can teach, it's that money isn't a bundle of bills, but a pineal gland of the bigger brain, the soppy soul that would have money pressed like an old penny through the tourist trap of life. Is learning to love myself, learning to love money? Maybe somewhere between Molly and mitochondria, there is a path to plenty, to money symbolizing the worth of self. Troubled, I tumble, and I fold a cash-back bill into my worn leather wallet at the self-checkout in the grocery store I frequent. Starting up the car again, the check engine light is on. It will cost money to fix. Some video game references in there. This one's also, I'm referencing a video game. I actually use it as a frame for the poem. It's called Golden Eyes. Doesn't have anything to do with James Bond. Nothing whatsoever. If we blow the dam and release the river, will we have the facility to navigate old waters and runways our grandfathers had never even paddled? The temporary stability of a surface deceives. Below, in bunkers of concrete, operas echo around a silo of seeds, waiting to crack like glow sticks, for the rave on a frigate of unyielding mercies, with all us surface dwellers shining, crowned by the bunker lords. The desire to carry on until a statue can be raised to the one still unmasked, according to the archives of Lucha Libre. Out there in the streets, with border music all around, life no longer is held for search outside a depot. It boards a train bound for love, expedient love. And when it's cutting through the jungle, not even the control of rail or tie will keep us from entering the caverns of fortune. I see us, chasing each other around a cradle hand-hewn, tightening a red thread, the Aztec before Cortez the killer, to the Egyptians digging Suez, a penance for fierce water. Okay, just got my last two here. Thank you so much for listening. This one's a short one. This one's called Scribal Errors. This one was made with that magnetic poetry. Lots of fun. A thing about our only Barry, his letter lonely must journal between dance, for objective molecule breaks against pure love. Try for accepting no same betrayer. Have arm between sun, by rope, and a foot, too far than what us know, until repeat. And this last one is, now we're in January. This is very much a winter poem. Perihelion Blue is its title. The plows shave the state root while the last red oak leaves sport white beards, much like I'll be wearing in 20 years' time, a Saint Nick in rags begging for water. Calico cats yowl through the alleyway, urban roaring from proud adaptations. On streets free of dog energy, they are curled up at the feet of their owners. Winter gets colder, and Poughkeepsie is nowhere else in the world. A Munsey place name twisted by Dutch through English, each iteration a marring, a thwacking of reeds, the burial of a spring that flows as it dies. Hope without attachment this season, a town motto, never more than a supernatural belief. Lodestone flying too close to a compass needle, like a Lilliputian, Lilliputian, absorbed by inaction. Yet I must land, and you must landscape. Snow melts, retires as a 7-time heavyweight. At perihelion, I turn my face towards the blue, moisturized and smooth, sliding across the surface of a frozen sun, like a god's curling stone, broomed in advance of his house, a path of melt before, a glaze of ice behind, a scoured future. Thank you. I got some chapbooks that I self-published recently. I only brought 2. I couldn't assemble more than that. So if anyone's interested in come and see me, like, sliding scale, like $7, $10, whatever you want to pay in between. I've got Venmo, and I think I've got some change on me too. So thanks.
Can we please have another round of applause for Gary? Thank you so much. I wanted to start by calling back to a line that really hit me, and I say that kind of ironically. The heart is the size of a fist, no wonder it takes a beating. Incredible. I mean, just your language, it's like visceral, but not like unapproachable. And the comparisons between a lot of the body and the world, the crab trees and stuff like that. I don't know. It was resonating for me, those lines in particular, and that poem where that line was from. So thank you so much. So good to hear your writing in person. We are gonna move into the open mic list now, and please don't let Gary leave with either of those books. They're gonna be gone by the time he leaves. I won't let you guys leave until they are, unless I have to take both of them myself. So, on that note, thank you again, Gary. We are going to start the open mic list now. Welcome Mo Gelber to the stage. Okay, thanks.
All right, hello. So I apologize to everybody in the first 3 rows in case this gets a little bit loud. Steve walks warily down the street, the brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet, machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Hanging on the edge of your seat, out of the doorway the bullets rip, to the sound of the beat, look out. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. How do you think we're gonna get along without you when you're gone? Yeah, it took me for everything that I had, left me out on my own. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? How long can you stand the heat? Out of the doorway the bullets red, to the sound of the beat, look out. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. 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 Hey, 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 hey. hurt a man, bring him to the ground. You can beat him, you can cheat him, you can treat him bad. Leave him when he's down. But I'm ready for you. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. Out of the doorway, the bullets red, repeating to the sound of the beat. Look out. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Shoot out. Thank you. That was a song by Queen. Let's do a song by Pink Floyd. But let's do it as if Pink Floyd were playing at a bar mitzvah. Daddy's flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory. Snapshot in the family album. Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Daddy, what'd you leave behind for me? All in all, it was just a brick and wall. All in all, it was just a brick and wall. We don't need no education. We don't need our thoughts controlled. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave us kids alone. Hey teacher, leave us kids alone. All in all, it was just a brick and wall. All in all, it was just a brick and wall. I don't need no arms around me. I don't need no drugs to calm me. I have seen the writing on the wall. Don't think I need anything at all. No, I don't need anything at all. All in all, it was just a brick and wall. All in all, it was just a brick and wall. Avenu shalom aleichem. Avenu shalom aleichem. Avenu shalom aleichem. Avenu shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem. We don't need no education. We don't need our thoughts control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave us kids alone. Hey teacher, leave us kids alone. All in all it was just a brick in the wall. All in all it was just a brick in the wall. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Dave, tell me when it's safe to take the wire out. Oh, there is no wire. Okay, so it's safe. Yeah. Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So next up, we have Samantha. Yash, welcome to the stage.
All right. Hello. My name's Samantha Yost. It's good to be here tonight. So I was telling everyone kind of before most people got here, as I just got off of about a 10-year hiatus on playing guitar. I've kind of gotten back into it. And it was a situation where I deleted a bunch of apps off of my phone and stopped playing video games and magically had time and energy to play guitar again. So jumping back into it, this is a piece called Parasol Cafe. It's one of the first serious pieces that I wrote, and hope you enjoy it.
We always do another round of applause for first-time performers here, too. So, yeah, thanks so much. I hope you come back. And next up, we have Leaf. Welcome.
And, you know, I don't really know what to say. I could say, well, you know, I've been sucked into the YouTube vortex. That's what I'm doing. I was watching, you know, you see something. I ordered a book the other day. It was How to Cure All Diseases with High-Dose Vitamin D. Pretty compelling, you know. I tried it once, actually. I had a very high dose of vitamin D. And I remember I was screening for a drug study, which was the contradiction in my life. I know about these things over here that's supposed to make you healthy. and then I'm over here doing medical studies to make a buck so I don't rob a bank. Although that does sound kind of appealing. It's always been appealing. It's always been like a fantasy in the back of my brain. I remember once, you know, I had a thought in my head. I was like, when I get to this age, if I haven't made it, by the way, I went way past that shit. I chickened out. I'm robbing a bank. You know, it was always, because I grew up on those movies, you know, where it was sexy to rob a bank, you know, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, you know, and I mean, you know, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how the guy up at Stewart's that got me ringed me out with the chili and the coffee. I don't know how he shows up the next fucking day. I don't. So my hats are off to him. I mean, I haven't had very many jobs in my life. I did work at Hits, Horses in the Sun, and Socrates, announcing rich bitches on horseback. And they were, you know, Bruce Springsteen's daughter, Chris Rock's daughter. I guess that's what you do when you're rich. You know, you like tell your parents to buy you a fucking horse, or you're like going to do drugs and become a prostitute. I don't know. Which is understandable. I mean, doing the drugs, becoming a pro. I don't know. I mean, it's funny, like money's it's not supposed to make you happy, but you know, you have that idea of if I just had some money. Like, I've been broke my whole life, but I inherited some money. So, like, I don't have to do studies anymore. Although, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, fuck, I've been blowing through a lot of money. There's a $19,000 study for, like, 17 days. What the fuck is in it? You know, it's like an arsenic study. No, it was an AIDS drug study, which is probably not great, you know, because they're probably, like, mutating your immune system. It's what they do, you know, because they're paying a lot now. Ever since the lockdowns, I don't know, maybe a lot of people quit or something. I don't fucking know. It's, yeah, you know why I probably didn't show up here? Because I was like, oh, it's live. I could get in trouble. You know, because if you say the wrong thing, you know, you can get arrested by the time you get home. I could, okay? You know, you can't threaten, you know, you can't, no. And I wouldn't. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, I would like to bring Bush Senior back and beat the shit out of him. I would do that. But, you know, that's all right. He's not, I think you can threaten people in the afterlife. I think that's safe, you know, so. And I mean, if you're going to be president, okay, listen, you're head of the military-industrial complex. You're basically hired to kill people and convince everyone else that you're going to throw them some money, but really you're stealing their money. And, you know, you should go to prison, basically, right? Because, you know, for crimes against humanity, you know, for fucking the American people in the ass. Come on, you know, it's like, so we should have a presidential prison. We should. You know, you can be president, you know, you can bomb people with drones and you can, you know, Iran, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I listen to a lot of people talk about this. The theories are wild. It's everything from, it's a clever 3D chess takeout of the British banking empire, I kid you not, to it's actually a financial reset, which that wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, you destroy the petrodollar. Anyway, we won't keep going. So I just stopped listening. You know, after a while, I was like, all right, fuck this shit. I can't figure out what's going. And I'm not going over there. I mean, why would I? But because I don't have any superpowers. I grew up in Marvel Comics, and I always thought, I told my mother, I said, listen, I want to be a superhero. Is that possible? She was like, I think I like to read too many comic books. I think that I did. Oh, by the way, Rod, I got to check the time. Don't worry, we're almost done. Couple minutes, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I would run for president, but frankly, I just can't handle the 24-hour day. I can't. Can you people? I mean, I don't know where it goes. In fact, I've heard people say that it's speeding up. And I believe it because I can't fucking keep up with it. Every day all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock. Like I barely got here. You know, that's why I probably never showed up. It'd be like, okay, they're doing that thing over there. Well, I'm watching 60 Minutes instead. I'm watching a tennis match. Anyway, I was going to go into it, but I was thinking like before we're born, I mean, we get tricked. I think we get tricked. Like, you get tricked. You're like, listen, you get to go down, you get a dick or a pussy, you get to have all this sex, and, you know, we get to eat all this cool food. There's all these great sights. They don't tell you, like, the fine print is like, by the way, you'll probably be working at a shitty job, and you won't be able to afford the Hudson Valley and Kingston. And get yourself down there, you fucking chicken shit. We need slaves. Yeah. So it's like an idiot factory, you know? There's somebody up there is running an idiot factory. It's like a reality show. You come down here, and you're just like, Jesus. And I mean, the only way I survived the lockdowns is by watching every episode of South Park. That's how I made it through. I mean, I'd seen a lot of them, but, you know, I hadn't seen all of them. So, yeah, weird. Who's that idiot on camera? Yeah, so I think, I mean, you know, I don't know how, I remember I said this, I was like, I don't know how people are voting for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. Like, and both sides are like, well, it's the lesser of two evils. Isn't it obvious? Oh, it's the lesser of two evils. You know, you look at both of them, you're like, okay. So I think, like, we should have animals run for president. You know, I'm kind of bored. But, you know, maybe a raccoon, you know, a duck. I mean, of course, South Park did have George Bush II as a duck. That was pretty good. Anyway, I'm being a goofball. So I talk about something. I mean, the apocalypse is here, right? We're in the middle of it, I think. I have a feeling, you know, I mean, you know you know what they want to do, right? They want a turnkey totalitarian system, 15-minute cities, surveillance fucking everywhere, programmable fucking money, right? Digital ID. You can't get your money if you don't believe in the right. Is that the sign to get off the stage? Very good. Oh, no, it isn't? Well, it's close anyway. But, yeah, I haven't done this for a while, by the way, just so you know. I think, you know, and what maybe what's going to happen is you got the derivatives market. It's about $870 trillion. It's like 7 times the amount of the real economy. It's like they make bets on their other bets. If it goes south, supposedly they want to just take everything. So, I don't know. All I'm saying is I can't come up with the right. Just tell them to go fuck themselves. That's what I'm saying. Okay, all right. Have a good night.
I'm a big stand-up comedy fan myself, if I may say. I actually just wrote a story about a local stand-up comedy school in Kingston, which was pretty cool. They're called Squalid Gold. If any of you out there are interested in learning more about stand-up comedy from a pro, check out Squalid Gold. They're pretty awesome. Thank you, Leaf, for your commentary on the world as we know it. Next up is Gary, who just walked back there. So we're going to maybe move on to the next one for right now. But my sheet, Gary, would you mind telling me who's on that next? Thank you, Gary. Post Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Interesting. So I'm just going to read 2 or 3 poems. This is the first poem I wrote. I'm not really a poet. Every once in a while I write a poem, and they're quite literal. They're not like, you don't have to think a lot. So anyway, this is the first poem I wrote. I wrote it years and years ago. So it's called, I've always been fascinated by the phenomenon of when my heart is really open, there's people that live in my heart. Like, I don't think of them that much. And then when my heart is really open, they come in. So it's called Who Sleeps in Your Heart? A special song, a sunset, a work of art, or just a spark to awaken the person that sleeps in your heart. Just one tear, no matter from joy, sadness, or fear, is just a spark to awaken the person that sleeps in your heart. Is that sleeping beauty a lost love from time gone by, or someone close you never thought would die? Or is that someone you just want to be near, are all awakened by the drop of a tear? Like a miracle, as a tear flows from me, a beauty appears in every face that I see. Maybe that beauty that comes alive when I shed a tear is a reminder from God that he's very near, very near. Yeah, you might want to think about who lives in your heart, who sleeps in your heart. This is on the same idea about the surprise of having an open heart when my heart's really open and who's there. So I call it Sharon, but I could call it whoever I've been with and I'm not with anymore. Does the barren tree of winter have any idea that it will soon produce a succulent green spring leaf? Does the bulb lying deep within the frozen earth forget that the April sun will free its essence and a flower will bloom? Does the dying withered rosebush know that with one deep rain a flower will bloom? I am always amazed you are the bloom that appears when my cool, dry heart is melted by the warm nectar of my soul. I like that. I hadn't read that in a long time. So this is the last one. So I used to have, I had a house up here we built about 36 years ago. It was a beautiful house. It was wonderful, great views, a jacuzzi and so on. I loved the house. And I sold it about a year ago. And on that property was a river. Well, I don't know, maybe 100 feet wide, something like that. Maybe a little more than that. But I'd go swimming every day. It was right on my property. I'd go swimming. It was really like 5-6 feet deep. It was great. And I figured, so what I did was I live in a small apartment now, which I really love. There's just 2 apartments under a big house. And I miss not swimming every day. It's a real gift. So I went to this bar that was near my house where the locals were. And I said, is there a place to swim? Well, they told me I have to take my truck down there because you have to go through water, but it's like 3 minutes from my house. 3 minutes is this amazing lake, and there's nobody there. It's like, it's amazing. And I'm really happy about that. And so during the summer, and actually I was swimming the other day, that real hot day, I can swim, and I love it, and it's beautiful. So anyway, this is I stand in the water, and I just look out at the trees, the beauty. Like most of us here, nature is really lifts my soul, connects me with my spirit. And I was standing in the water, just looking out, looking at these trees that were way, just all around this beautiful lake. And I wrote this poem. Maybe I don't have it. No, I didn't bring it. Oh, no, I did. It's called The Son of My Soul. I stand waist deep in a vast lake on a summer day, marveling at the gray clouds that hide the warm glow of the sun. Just like that, the sun pierces the clouds and radiates its warmth on my cool body. When I am wise enough, I allow the warmth of my soul to penetrate my negative thoughts and radiate love, the love that I am. Thank you.
This is one of those rare nights when we have many new performers, which is so lovely. And you all have filled this place with so much new wisdom. And yeah, thanks for coming. And I hope you all return. But next up, we have a very, very long timer, Gary. Welcome.
Takes you on a journey. Okay. I had let's see, how did that first start? I had a linguistics professor who said that it's the ability to speak with language that makes us different from and makes us the dominant species on the planet. That may be, but I think there's there's one other thing that separates us from the animals. We're not afraid of vacuum cleaners. Max Planck. Science progresses funeral by funeral. Okay. There ain't no devil, there's just God when he's drunk. Tom Waits. Knowledge is gained by learning, trust by doubt, skill by practice, and love by love. Thomas Zaz, if anybody knows who that is. He had his day. Learn a new language, get a new soul. Czech proverb. All good fortune is a gift of the gods, and you don't win well, it's a little blurry here. All good fortune is a gift of the gods. You don't win the favor of the ancient gods by being good, but by being bold. Anita Bruckner. And let's see. There's a good one. But make no mistake, those who tell you that you can have whatever you want, be whoever you want to be, and have full control of your lives merely playing into our desire to avoid the discomfort of feeling our vulnerability. True wholeness is nothing to do with getting what we want. Paradoxically, we should the wholeness only embracing our fragility and sometimes our brokenness. Wholeness is a natural radiance of love, and love demands that we allow the destruction of our old self for the sake of the new. Life did not intend for us to be inviolable, but to be used for fodder of its workings. We are meant to be chewed up and digested and transformed into the blood and sinews of this world. Jalala Bonham. And I like, again, when she says, make no mistake, those who tell us you can have whatever you want, do whatever you want, be whatever you want, are scamming you. And let's see, the dog was created for children. He is a god of frolic. Henry Beecher. And here's one that you can try and say this. I'm going to try, but I'm not going to succeed. It's by Gertrude Stein. He certainly was one thinking in being living. He was completely thinking about some of the things about which he was thinking. He was not completely thinking about some of the other things he was thinking about in being one being living. He was completely thinking about some of the things he was thinking about in being living. He was not completely needing to be thinking about, well, thank you, Gertrude Stein. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Arlo Guthrie. The future is here. It's just not evenly distributed yet. William Gibson, whoever he is. We must, no, we're not going to do that one. Shame is the devil's work, not God, not God's. That's my quote. Thought I saw angels, but I could have been wrong. Ian Anderson. Neurotics build castles in the sky. Psychotics live in them, and psychiatrists collect the rent. Ursula Le Guin. It is better to wear out than to rust out. Bishop Richard Cumberland. It is better to burn out than to fade away. Neil Young. All right, coming down the final stretch here. A light heart lives long, William Shakespeare. No man is an island, he's a peninsula, Spencer Dryden. Okay. There are two kinds of truth, small truth and great truth. You can recognize a small truth because its opposite is a falsehood. The opposite of a great truth is another great truth. Niels Bohr. right. I like the Austrian way better. If you think of the right Indiana Jones movie, that's pretty funny.
Last Crusade.
Huh?
The Last Crusade.
Propagation by cuttings shows that the root is present everywhere. Goethe. In heaven, everything is fine. The Lady in the Radiator. Thanks again. Yeah. And finally, after the greatest of clouds, the sun. Alan of Lille.
Semitic man. So on that note, welcome Mia.
This first one I wrote during winter, and I was just watching the UCAT buses in Kingston, and it made me think of this for some reason. Okay, it's called Away. The buses still run, even in the middle of the night, middle of the week, going nowhere. Cars with snow on their hoods in the icy cold, no one knows. It takes so long to walk away, down the way back home, but still I go, thinking there must be something, somewhere, away, anyway. Blue, stony cigarettes, lighting them is the only sweet warmth. All the stage lights and wine give me a headache. I stand facing the road. Where it goes now, no one knows. For the fatherless and the alone, anywhere is somewhere anyway, so here goes. Okay, thank you. All right. And the second poem, you might see some similarities with Edgar Allan Poe because I like him a lot, but it's called Phantom. There was a tapping at my door, as over a black silk night I'd oddly pore and whisper to the phantom that I swore. His face, just a mouth, his wispy palms, asking me what I think about, and sings his psalm. How he always wants and knows how to beg. First he took my laughter, then he'll come for the bed. Tap, tapping at my door, as the moon softly weeps, he sings his prayer evermore, his elder psalm of poor. I scribble and write, I only want to be left to my own devices with a paper and a pen, but the phantom knocks and waits till I let him in. Though I try to ignore, he keeps standing by my door. Empty palms, a tired face, forever not haunted at a crazy pace. I locked my fingers and thought that I could hide as they pile sky high. But then the phantom starts again his psalm, more, more, more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. Next up, we have Vivian. Welcome.
This is my first time here. I've prepared 3 poems. One of them's kind of long, so if I go over time, please just tell me to shut up. This first one is called Brownstone. It is about an interaction with a government agency that I shall not name. Brownstone was a hitchhiker in America, and she wandered from empty parking lot to a slightly more filled parking lot, back to an empty parking lot, on a warm fall day, so common. Nice. I would like to throw a big fat rock at the chicken wire fence, said Brownstone as she scrounged for $1 in her bag. They keep on building fences and staffing desks to justify their social security benefits, said Brownstone to nobody as she sat at the station waiting to take the L train to nowhere. This next one is the long one. It's called Mania. It was written for my aunt, Colleen, who passed away very suddenly last year. We didn't really always get along or had a very good relationship, but this is how it made me feel. Mania. I am listening to what sounds like an accordion being stretched out to its fullest extent. It becomes louder, then steadily louder, and then softer again. It becomes a melody. It repeats. The cycle continues on and on and on and on and on, and then it stops. Then the cycle begins anew. The melody plays back and forth. It sounds otherworldly, like something out of an alien culture. It is beautiful. It is so fucking beautiful that I want to be killed, and then it all goes insane. It goes haywire. The order of it is broken, and there's a new quality which reminds me of the smashing of windows, but in that chaos there is order. A melody begins anew. This cycle will never break, until it does, but even then that is not dead, which may eternal lie. A new melody can always be created in the ashes of the old, perhaps better, stronger, faster. It is a melody who is a better artist than its father, a melody who is a better lover. A melody who is wiser, or perhaps it is weaker. Maybe the strength of the blood gives out, and all that is left is but a fraction of the splendor from whence it descended. Perhaps a miracle only comes once in a generation. I don't know. This song reminds me of me and God, and maybe I am her. I probably sound crazy, but I'm starting to think that there is a fraction of God in every little grain of sand which I step on. I want to destroy the grain, but matter cannot be created nor destroyed, so I'm just creating more little fractions of God. I will spread them to the wind, and she will know that I am the only one who ever understood her. She will know. She has to know. The cycle began again. It began again a while ago, but I'm getting distracted. It blended into my sense of being. I think I'm listening to something that I was intended to listen to, for if everything is coincidence, there are drums now. They beat. They beat for life and they beat for death. I smell death. I love death. The drums beat for war, and war is what was always there because man shitted him out onto the tombs of his forebears for lack of anything better to do. It reminds me of a Chinese song I once heard, something from the Qing dynasty. The Qing fell because they could not adapt to a changing environment, but this song is about changes. It is always changing. And just when you get comfortable and put your feet up and you brew a nice cup of coffee and flip on the television and think that you are set, stretching out on your couch and your eyes sag a little because it's been a long, long day. And every day has seemed longer than the last lately. And that's just the way of things, grinding you down to the bone. And then further still, and nothing will ever get better because mathematically the trend is set in stone and things are getting worse, and the weathermen say that there will be snow and sleet and then hail and then thunder and then lightning and then an earthquake and then the inevitable eruption of the Yellowstone caldera. And by the way, did you know a meteor is going to hit the Earth soon? I read it online, so I know that it's true. But just when you begin to get... I know that's true, but just when that is about to begin, and you are, for lack of a better word, comfortable, it will change. And a wrecking ball will come through your wall and kill your dog and fuck your husband and scatter your unpaid electric bills all around. And by the way, I had leftover pad thai in my fridge. Mr. Wrecking Ball, could you not destroy that? Would you be so kind? You became too complacent, and now you will pay for your complacency because no matter how hard you try to ignore the world will come for you. Maybe it didn't come yesterday, and maybe it won't come today, and hell, it probably won't even be coming tomorrow, but let me tell you, it is coming. It is coming for me, and it is coming for you, and when it does, you will know pain, or you will know bliss, or you will know unholy orgasm for the penance of the sin of having been born in a world which hates and devours and hates and then says it loves you for who you are. I say bullshit. I say fuck the tax collectors and defilers of the temple who raped me in my youth because they thought I was obscene. I would see them crucified and stabbed and then buried. Nothing has changed in a while, and perhaps I am becoming complacent again. I need to be ready for the drop of a pin. A slight change, my stomach turns. I've been waiting for this moment for years and years, and I know something is coming that wants me dead. This cycle will be the final one, because everything has to start over from scratch. But just what the fuck is scratch anyways? The crescendo is coming, and when it does, I will be ready to maim and loot and destroy in a blaze of glory, for I am a soldier of the God who created me to fulfill a purpose other than that which can be labeled as mere circumstance. But that's neither here nor there. All right, thank you. If I have enough time, I'll read the last one. All right, give me one sec. It's my last poem. I am the technological brainworm who drafts the bus schedules, makes the trains run on time. She who burns forests at the drop of a pin and fills oceans with hypodermic needles. I play the music, dance the tune, maybe say a word or two as I make them walk in line. The degenerates, criminals, perverts, and immigrant queers to the fields where motor oil achieves coitus with blood pudding and steel. I run ads on the TV that advertise Cialis and anorexic fantasies. I pay thousands upon thousands of bones to the grave diggers and snake oil salesmen who play terrorist symphonies in bars and food co-ops. I've sold countless youths to the furnaces of ever-hungering Moloch. One day, I will rape the offices of Congress and suck off soldiers in their beds. And when I do, you'll learn to smoke cheap cigarettes and burn old books and wait for the year to end. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Another round of applause, please. That was really wonderful, and thank you so much for coming and sharing. Reminded me a lot of my writing at a point in time in my life as well. So I was really resonating with that, and also thinking back to that time in my life. I hope you're doing better now than I was doing then. Let's put it that way. So I am going to read now because it's the end of the show, and that's kind of what I do. Once everyone else has said their part, then it's my turn. So you guys are gonna have to bear through one more performance, or if you don't want to, you can leave. So I have a few poems. So anyone who, I'm just gonna lift it up just a tad. Okay. Anyone who hasn't heard me read before, I only read new stuff here because I host this, what feels like so frequently. I only want to read things that no one's ever heard before, which means that most of them are pretty raw and probably need a lot of editing. So we're just gonna see what happens. I haven't been titling any of my poems recently, by the way, so none of these are titled. Altruize these, sorry, that's a hard first line. Altruized these garagified goods, pre-lightning storm from cold to sunburnt, belly full of saucy gruel. I wager passively, leaning towards taking, praying to be rid of as I expel the blood of his stories sedated by the salute of your relief, provoked by salacious meetings highly coveted and dreamt of. Asked by app what I desire most, I say better orgasm, and it asks me again, but this time as how could the moments of intimacy increase in intensity? I say better orgasm and it breaks down. Isn't sure how to properly respond except crash and leave me wondering why I ask for so much. Why, when sitting silent, soldiering the weight of an empty stomach, I'm suddenly sugared, a candied piece of flesh that one craves like a mother's love. Why, when stalk straight, still to the point of breaking, I'm suddenly approachable, in need of taking. They come closer, encroaching. They say little in an attempt to cut to the chase, and I, reminded of all those moments, paralyzed when I surrendered to the gaze, smile and cross my legs. The word is sunshine. The word is bloodletting. The word is double entendre. In the arms, locked fingers of a knight all armor, I rest nestled into that cold, hard metal. I cannot get comfortable, cannot sleep because I cannot get comfortable and overheat with a pulse beating in my hand. I'm compromised, I fear. Fear that even these cotton-soaking days prove as only temporary reprieve from the disorder of perpetual instability and a heart too full for this chest, too full and sinking. I fear a loose grip, a sudden rainstorm or a chill down my back, a hand on my thigh. Now, all I want is something sweet. What I really want is a pair of new shoes and a whole day with a good book. I want to curdle, swim in a vat of milk and turn it strawberry, then slowly submerge, sink, stupefied and staring into the white of it, the milk of it, a whole house of it. Thanks. This next one is about an experience I had with a child recently, my cousin, at Easter. We left a cold shrimp in my sister's closet for the dragon. Next, we left a lemon wedge. Each time we returned, they had disappeared, vanished. As the day grows dim, I am alone in your apartment again. When you return, I will refrain from talking about how the smoke alarm went off twice while I was cooking, or that I took a swig from your bottle of red wine tucked away in the pantry. I will refrain from saying that my first thought when you left was why you did so without kissing me, why you didn't even say goodbye. There are whispers outside. I wonder if when you return, you will ask me whether I listen to the birds twitter in this gloriously hot April night. Will you ask if I stood at your window and gazed out at the sky as it grew darker and darker, the shadows blending into one hollow tributary leading to the open cavity of the enlightened patch of world I stand in? I'd smile and nod as response, trying to keep things terse as usual and waiting for your hand against the small of my back. It seems so childish, like leaving food in a closet for a dragon that only exists within the delta of a precocious mind. Thanks. This morning, we stared at a bird on the crabapple tree in front of your window. You commented on how happy it looked, ruffling its feathers and picking out lucidities from under its wings. You called it a voyeur, waiting for us to undress and chirp at our silly human coitus. I thought it portly, a chunky russet-colored fellow, dove-like, but more of a swallow. The dangling seeds of a white birch preempt leaves as an ethereal, insectish addition to their perpetually flaking bark. They hang above my car and above the car next to my car, belonging to a stranger in my driveway. Everywhere there are magnolias and maples. You can eat the magnolia flowers. They taste bitter and slightly of jasmine. There is one in full bloom in front of my friend's house. Her kitty, a 16-year-old bony white-furred temptation named Bunny, sat before the tree. She blended into the carpet of white, browning leaves coating the ground. As we walk down the street, I comment on every tulip I see. You always see them after me, but enjoy them equally. Thanks. And so that was about springtime, which is just what, it's just the best. Seeing everything blooming and blossoming, it's nothing really compares to it. And this last poem is very, very short, and it is about a run that I went on the other morning. Scent of butter bursting down foggy street laced with morning light past cemetery and hollowed out length of tree leading the way to cat named Mira, part Siamese, eyes like Vivian, hunting for gardener snakes in the woods. That was thank you. That was a really funny experience I had on a run where I saw this woman walking down the street with her cat following behind her. Not on a leash, just walking on her own. And she had my cat's eyes. My cat is named Vivian, funny enough. And spelled differently though. And she said that she takes her cat out in the mornings to hunt snakes in the woods. And I just thought that it was the most poetic thing I'd ever heard in my life. So on that note, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you again to Gary for reading and being our feature tonight. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I really hope you can make it back here. And thank you to everyone else who came and performed and read and listened and just enjoyed this space with us tonight. Our next event is to be announced. As usual, I am not prepared. So just check out our Instagram. It's White Noise GK. And I post about our happenings there. I guess you can also look in the Daily Freeman, but I would never recommend you to look in that paper because it's kind of against my job to do so. So yeah, thank you all again for coming. White Noise signing off.